So we're going to start out by just folding a regular piece of computer paper into a diagonal triangle and cutting off the extra. Now we have a square piece of paper. We're going to fold it twice so that we're left with 4 small squares. We're just going to need one of these, so I'm going to cut it, and there we go. So now I have this diagonal line. I can now start kind of brainstorming and sketching some different designs for my abstract motif. So I have some images on our shell that you can check out, and you can also just sort of start by thinking of something in nature and then abstracting it. So I thought of a swan, and so I sort of sketched out this little swan here. So I've sketched out this little swan here, and now I want to repeat the design. So I'm actually going to trace it. So I'm going to fold my paper backwards, and I'm going to use a light source like a window, and I'm just going to trace so that I can have a perfectly symmetrical design. If you don't want to do that, you can just kind of redraw your design. And here is after I've traced. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make any edits or changes to my design. Like I've decided I didn't like the way that there was 2 moons there. I'm just going to make it into 1 moon. And so I'm going to do some refinement and editing of my design and sort of cleaning it up. And also I'm going to contemplate which areas are going to be negative space and which are going to be positive space. So I want to have a balance of both. I don't want this to just be outlines. I want to have negative and positive space both represented equally. Okay, so I feel that my design is ready to begin outlining. And so I have a regular Sharpie, and I also have an extra fine Sharpie and some other markers that have different thicknesses or different weights of line. And so I'm going to start by doing some outlining. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to decide which areas are going to be negative space, so which are going to be filled in black, and which are going to be positive space, so which will be filled in white. So what I'm doing here is I'm deciding that the body of the swan on this side is going to be filled in black. And so I want those little details on the wings. And so I'm just sort of outlining around those lines I've drawn so that they will be visible, like they're going to be white on the final design. So I've used the thinner Sharpie to do that outline, and then the thicker Sharpie can be used for filling in. And it's kind of tricky to make super straight lines with your pen tool. And so what I would just say is kind of take deep breaths and just go slow. And if you do make a mistake, that's all right. You can always kind of incorporate that into your design in some way, maybe by making the line thicker or something like that. So I finished the side where the swan is going to be black, and now I am going to work on the other side. And so I am just kind of continuing to outline, being patient. And for this side, I'm actually going to color the entire background of that side of the square. I'm going to color it all black. And so that's my plan. So I am kind of thinking ahead as I'm going and making decisions as I go. The other thing that I wanted to mention is with the pencil lines, if you want to, you can erase them all after you've done outlining, or before you begin with your black marker, you can kind of just go over them lightly with an eraser to lighten them a bit. I found that with my lines, they did show up quite noticeably on my photo or the scan that I did afterwards. I also wanted to point out that I am switching back and forth between the thicker and the thinner markers, as you can kind of see best in the feathers of the swan. Having different weights of lines, so different thicknesses of lines, will really help your design to look more interesting and engaging for the viewer. All right, I am almost about to show you the design with all the areas filled in. Here we go. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to either take a photo of it using a scanner app on your phone, or you can scan it. So let's do that. And the main point of us doing that is so we can get it onto our computer so we can then play with the design a bit. So I have my design uploaded and I've gone to canva.com. I already have an account, so I'm already signed in. I'm going to click create a design and then click on custom size. So I'm just going to go with a regular piece of paper size. So we'll do 8.5 by 11. It's going to make us a blank design. So now what I want to do is I want to upload my artwork. So I'm going to click on upload. I'm going to click upload files, and then I'm going to pick from wherever my file was saved on my computer. And then it's going to upload it into that left little area where all my files are. So I will then need to click on the image, and there we go. I click on the image to add it to my paper here, my page here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it a little bit. So I can click on edit photo, and then I can click on the different filters that we have here. So these filters are kind of cool. They kind of provide a little bit of a subtle change. So we still have the black and the white, but we just have a little bit of a lighter color. There's also these color pop ones as well. So we're kind of going to play around with them and see if there's something that we enjoy. Also, under the Edit Photo tab, there is this thing called Duotone. It's under FX Effects, and it allows me to choose 2 different colors for my work. So any of these ones, you can choose any of these preloaded ones, but you can also edit the, I guess, the filter to let you pick your own 2 colors. So I suggest these ones. They're very easy to use, and there's a lot of options because you can choose your own. See right here, you can choose from these, you can change these colors to make them your own choices. So once you have something that you're happy with, then we're going to start flipping and duplicating the image. All right, so I'm happy with this. I'm going to duplicate it. So I copied and pasted it. And what I want this to be is a flipped version. So I'm going to go flip horizontal, and then it's the tails of the swans are going to be in the center. So I could try it flipping it a different way and seeing if I enjoy that. Oh, I could flip that down and make it to be on the bottom. And I want a design with 4 tiles. So you can then copy again. So we'll copy Control C, Control V again. And then maybe I want to do different colors for this one. So I can go back into that duotone option there, and maybe I'll choose 2 different colors and I'll duplicate that one. So basically we're doing the copy paste to create a new tile, and then we're going to use the flip to create the design. So I can put the 2 heads facing the middle, I could put the tails facing the middle. I want you to play around with the different configurations that you can use and see which one you like the best. So that's what I'm going to do now. We'll speed up the video and I'll show you my final choice. All right, so this is what I ended up going with, the heads of the swans all facing the center. And so I'm happy with it. I'm just going to select all of the tiles and sort of move them over to the center. And then in order to share this with me, you're going to click on share in the top right-hand corner, and you're going to download this as a PDF or a PNG file. Please do not just share the link. And then you'll add that into your template so that you can submit your work. Thanks for watching.